So good afternoon, everybody. In this video, we are joined by Heath and Alyssa Padgett to talk about their many ventures as RV entrepreneurs, what it's like to continue working and traveling with a newborn, and their future travel plans. Heath and Alyssa, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having us.
My name is Stacey Ritchie-Roman. I'm the marketing director for Wholesale Warranties. Super excited to talk with you guys today. We've been following you for a while and excited to get tips on traveling with a newborn because coming next year, I will be hopefully doing that. So excited about. If you're joining us today, make sure you leave a comment, say hello, let us know you're with us, and let us know if you travel with young kids. So Heath and Alyssa, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I would say, first of all, we're looking forward to getting tips on traveling with a newborn too, because we're about to figure out how that goes. We're taking her to, she's about to be 4 months old, and we're taking her to Italy next month.
Wow.
We're taking her to Italy like 10 days.
Yeah, oh my gosh, I can't believe it's coming up so quickly. It's crazy.
But we got married a little over 5 years ago, and for our honeymoon, we decided to go to all states. And we realized that RVing would be the most cost-effective way to do that. And it took about a month of living in an RV for us to absolutely fall in love with it. And we've kind of been traveling ever since, finding ways to make money on the road and running our business on the road.
Yeah, it's kind of high level.
Awesome. Yeah, and there are a lot of different facets to what you guys do. So I will kick things off with the podcast, which I love because you guys feature such a wide range of how to make money while traveling. It's not just blogging or kind of those focuses that you hear about a lot. I know you just kind of dove back into it. Do you want to tell us a little bit about the podcast and who you've had on recently?
Yeah, totally. So I started the podcast, The RV Entrepreneur, over 3 years ago now. And the whole idea was like when we started it, we wanted to be able to try to figure out, like how we could continue growing our business. So part of what we wanted to do was just make friends and learn from other people who were building businesses on the road. So I think I'm getting close to hitting 200 episodes now. And like some of the people I've interviewed recently are a professional photo editor who was doing weddings, doing photography, and then she wanted to go travel with her husband. So she started like a editing business.
That one actually hasn't come out yet, so that was something to look forward to.
So who are like some other ones recently?
I've been editing the podcast. We had Abby Holcomb on the podcast, and we pretty much only interview adults. This is the first person we've ever interviewed who is a kid. She's been RVing, she's 15, and she's been RVing for almost her family. And just hearing the ways that she's made money on the road, but also just the adventures and things that she's been able to do, like places in the world for kayaking, because that's what she does. And it's just really for us interviewing all these different people. We have very much gone the blogging route. Heath has a software company. But to listen to all these interviews and hear how many different types of businesses are actually being run with a laptop and an internet anywhere in their motorhome is really, really cool.
Yeah, I think when we were first looking at going out and traveling for an extended period of time, I was looking at I was following some people on Instagram who were living in a truck camper, and he was an amazing photographer. Okay, if I wanted to be able to travel full time in an RV, I need to be like a Nat Geo photographer or something like that. And I'm like, I don't have that type of skill set. So to be able to find people in so many different facets of life who are, making a good living for themselves and creating value in their careers, and getting to see the country and spend time with the people they love. It's kind of I think, a really cool dream scenario that's now available for a lot more people than it was ever before. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I mean, that's near and dear to our hearts because that's how Wholesale Warranties started. Our owner was a full-timer when he started Wholesale Warranties and worked out of his RV until he had to bring the rest of us on to help him out. So
totally,
it's really exciting the different things that you can do and still travel and have that flexibility.
For sure. Yeah, 100%.
And then Alyssa, so we've gotten a lot of your updated blog posts recently. How has it been getting back to writing with having a newborn and kind of you guys have also settled down a little bit. How's that transition worked?
Kind of a loaded question. I have a lot of different Getting back to work has been really weird and really difficult because I realize now that when I was pregnant, I was not really working a lot of hours. I just skating by, just kind of getting ready for baby. And now it was probably around like 6 weeks postpartum when I was like, okay, I'm like ready to go all into the business and get back into it. But I've got this little baby that needs me all the time. And so now we're kind of getting into more of a rhythm of, okay, she'll nap for 2 to 3 hour spurts and I can like sit down and hustle and like get things done. And getting back into writing has been something that was actually really hard for me compared to, I mean, I've been writing blogs for 6-7 years now. And you would think that like by then, like you've got the hang of it, but taking a couple months off to have a baby and maternity leave and all that, getting back into it has been really hard. Just like sitting there and being like, I have no idea what to say. I have no idea what people would want to read from me. But I got nothing. Just like try to like word vomit and there's nothing coming out. But I think one of the harder things too, like you mentioned, like we've kind of been in this state of our lives where we've been just still and hang out. Like we're in an apartment right now and I'm very bored. You go from like being in an RV and you're like somewhere new every single day. And now I'm like in the same place for weeks at a time. I'm like, I don't know how people do this. This is so crazy.
Yeah, I think on the plus side though is that it's been nice to have a season of life where we have like a washer dryer for like poopy baby outfits and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So
it's one of those like in between times where it was so absolutely necessary that we be in one place and like have this total stability. But I'm like ready to jump on that plane and go to Venice in a few days.
Awesome. Well, I can tell you as somebody who doesn't travel, the way we get through it is we read blogs like your guys'. We live vicariously through you.
Honestly, that's what we've done this year too.
Yes,
like,
so much YouTube.
Yeah, and so it's been fun because I think no matter how good you have it, you can always reach a period of burnout or like not having perspective on how amazing your life is. And that could be true for anybody in most scenarios. But like for us being stationary this year, we have been still a lot, just like hanging out with baby. And then like we watched a lot of our friends on YouTube having adventures. And I rewatched, like we did a little video series when we were in New Zealand last year. I went back and rewatched those like 3 times. Like I'm watching movies because it was exciting. I'm like, I can't believe like we have some photos on our wall of like travels and stuff. And it's like, that feels like a weird, different segment of our life that we were like out traveling.
Baby life.
Yeah, but it was like most of our time on the road, and we are excited to get back into it. But also, I think this period of time helped us appreciate how lucky and how amazing that is, because we were kind of reaching a point where, like we'd been doing it so long.
It was normal.
It was normal. Yeah, and that sounds so bad, and like
you can get used to anything.
You can get used to anything now, and it's just the truth of it. So, yeah.
So you guys are going to Italy soon. Is that the first plane ride for the baby? Second. Wow. Okay. She's already done some traveling.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. She flew all the way out to California and back, and she was like amazing. She slept most of the time, and when she wasn't sleeping, she was smiling. She's like the world's happiest baby. I don't know. So fingers crossed. We have like 9.5 hours from Dallas to Paris.
She'll make her brief appearance here, but she's passed out right now.
Oh, so cute. That's for some big travels. That's good.
Yeah. So
that's what she looks like on the plane too, just passed out.
Yeah.
I hope so. I have like anxiety, and you'll know this soon too. It's like when we're like in public or a restaurant or like in a plane, please don't cry.
That's okay. I think she's cute enough to get away with it. So
yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
Great. All right. So switching gears a little bit, we know the RV Entrepreneur Summit is coming up. Tickets have sold out, I hear. So give us an inside scoop. What's the summit all about, and how do you find out how to attend?
Yeah. So the summit in general is a business conference for people who travel in RVs. So this will be our 4th year doing it. At first year was going to be like kind of a glorified meetup, and it ended up like we ended up having like 120 people come. And the whole mission or idea behind it is really the same as the podcast, which is to provide resources for people who want to like go out and travel and hit the road and build an interesting life, but need ways to support that or grow their business. And so basically the really cool thing has been helping bring that community together, because there's been some really amazing relationships and things like that have come from it, because we're out traveling or working on something, and you kind of like in a little silo in your little lane. And so to be able to be around other people who are like pursuing this unconventional life and way to do things in a business and travel with family, I think it's really helpful, and it helps people realize that it is possible. So we'll have like 400 people there this year, and it's been probably like our favorite week of the year consistently every year. We love hosting. It's really fun. The event itself is like 4 days, but people come early and stay late. And so we have like main stage talks, and we have workshops and attendee-led meetups. And we just try to like bring people together and share things that can be helpful as you're trying to grow your business.
And really for us, it's like our friend making.
Totally.
Yeah, we meet so many new people that then throughout the rest of the year we get to meet up again and really like just create new friendships that we never would have met these people otherwise if we didn't have this chance to bring them together. So we released early bird tickets last month, and those all sold out. And so we release our next batch of tickets next week, actually.
Yeah. So if you're watching this and want to come, we're doing like a giveaway right now to celebrate 4 years. So we're giving away 4 tickets.
We are.
So on our Facebook page. Yeah, totally.
Awesome. And where is it being held this year?
Lake Guntersville State Park. You know where that's at, right? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, of course.
It's like a small town in the hill country of northern Alabama, which is not too far from Nashville.
And it's like if you never RV'd in Alabama is like the most underrated state in the South because you've got like white sand beaches when you're down on the coast, and then in northern Alabama you actually get like kind of the southern tip of the Appalachian Mountains, so it's really hilly. There's lots of lakes, and it's so beautiful. So we'll be there in the spring.
Yeah.
Awesome. Sounds amazing.
Yeah, we're so excited.
And such a good opportunity to really meet with that niche group of people who are figuring out that lifestyle. And
Totally.
And I looked up some of the speakers. There are some people that we know and work with as well. So I'm sure that nobody will be disappointed with everyone you're featuring this year. Definitely go check it out. Try to win those tickets. If you're watching, head over to their Facebook. I might try to win. I don't know if there's
Come on. Yeah.
But yeah, that sounds great. Okay, so other than Italy, what does the future look like? Are you guys getting back into RVing, more international travel? What does that look like?
Yeah.
Yes.
Great question.
Yes to everything.
Yeah,
All of it.
we're trying to. We have like a lease. We were basically like, hey, we're going to be still for like this year of transitioning to parenthood, and then we're kind of mapping out what the next thing looks like. So we're in short still figuring out. Our tentative plan is that we want to get another rig this fall. It kind of depends on how the first baby trip RV goes in Italy. So we don't know.
No, but we've been RV shopping on RV Trader pretty much every day, looking for what kind of setup do we want to do. We've kind of like tried out all the motors.
You've been shopping, or I've been shopping?
Oh, like every hour, refreshing. What's new
There's
locally?
too many options.
There's so many options, and we've talked about like we've tried all the different motorhomes. We're like, well, do we want to try a trailer or a fifth wheel setup? Kind of like mix it up. Do we want to get back in a Class A? So we'll be in like a small kind of Class B in Europe, which I don't think, just anticipating with a baby, I don't think that that's what we'll probably buy whenever we're back here stateside. But we've been dreaming up a lot of different routes and things that we can do in an RV one year back here in November. Hopefully all in an RV.
Awesome. And so you guys have RV'd internationally before. Have you RV'd in Europe?
No, this will be first time.
Heath's never been to Europe, so this is like first time.
Oh, very exciting.
Ciao, bonjour. Vorrei un caffè por favore. I've been studying like the basics, super basics. Yeah,
It's
I want
good.
to be able to order coffee, wine, say excuse me, stuff like that.
Please, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The road signs I haven't even looked at, so I'm like freaking out a little bit.
I just found an ebook that teaches you all the road signs.
Okay.
So it says they don't put words on them; they're just like
Oh
symbols.
my
So
gosh.
like we gotta study.
And I'm supposed to
before
drive a
that.
stick shift, and I've never driven one before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
A lot of learning curves on this trip. I look forward to hearing about it afterwards.
Yeah.
I'm just picturing the very small roads there.
Yeah.
The RVs are smaller there, but that's still going to be a triumph when you do it successfully, I guess.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think what we're looking for is an adventure,
Yeah.
And so last year.
something that challenges us.
Yeah. So,
You can continue what you're saying.
No, I don't even remember what I was saying.
I've been watching YouTube videos of people motorhoming in Italy, and it's a lot of people from the UK that like ship their RVs over and then RV in Italy. And that's the thing. But they look a lot like the roads in New Zealand. So I feel like we're a little bit prepared because those roads were pretty narrow and pretty winding and mountainous and things. But we're at least on the right side of the road this time. So.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. Well, I look forward to hearing a lot more about that. And eat all of the gelato. That's like my one tip for people that go to Italy. Like, it's unbelievable. I dream about it, and it's been many years since I was there. So, don't limit yourself on gelato. Have it as often as possible.
We won't.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Awesome. So do you have like a top tip for new parents that maybe, I think a lot of people when they have kids think, okay, traveling shut down for a while. What's your top tip for new parents that still want to look at the adventurous side of life?
I would say one, we are new parents too, so we're like looking at it. But I think we have taken her to Colorado and San Diego, and so we've done a couple trips.
A few like road trips around Texas.
My key learning so far is like it's harder, but if I had to choose between like sitting still at home and like not doing anything with her because that's safe and easy, I would choose the awkwardness of like having to like feed her or change a diaper in the middle of the airport. And even though that's more challenging than it was when it was just us two, like it's possible. And I think I'm opting to choose for that, like even though it's more challenging, because I don't want to be still and not do anything just because we have a baby.
Totally. And I think going when they're as young as you can start traveling with them is the best way to do it, because we started traveling with her when she was 4 weeks old. We made our first road trip, and when they're that young, they just sleep all day. So as far as like going on a road trip, it's so manageable because you're not having to like constantly be stepping and feeding and things like that. Now that she's a little bit older, we just did a road trip a couple weekends ago, and we had to stop 5 times because she's awake and fussing and hungry and freaking out. And so when you kind of start when they're a little bit younger and figure out your own rhythm, because there's so much fear associated with it and like, I don't know what I'm doing, then you can kind of like shoot up that learning curve a little faster.
Awesome. And what a great thing she'll be able to look back and be like, hey, remember when I was 4 months old and RVing around Italy? Like that's,
And
PDT is still going to be a thing when she's older, but that's a pretty good throwback photos.
and then we'll be like, yeah, we remember. Do you remember? She'll be like, no, I was 4 months old. Like, take me back.
Yeah, now we have to go again.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. All of the many things we talked about, blogs, podcasts, the RV Entrepreneur Summit, what's the easiest way to find you guys online?
HeathAndAlyssa.com. It's kind of like a catch-all for everything. So, yeah.
Perfect. All right. Well, highly recommend you check out that website. You will lose a lot of your time, but you will be happy about it because I have lost many hours there. Definitely not on the clock, but yeah, it's great to peruse through and see all of the adventures you guys have been on. If you're watching and you have questions for Heath and Alyssa, I'm sure if you leave a comment, we can reach out to them and they'd be happy to answer them. And thank you so much for joining us.
Awesome.